What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Canes Insight Daily podcast powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. It is a victory Sunday. The Canes go up to Blacksburg, a place that used to terrify Canes fans. Casual 17-point win, doubling up the Virginia Tech Hokies, and another very, very good day for the passing game, for the offense, and for the Miami Hurricanes. Let me shout out some folks who always have very good days. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. Yeah, man. So listen, I will be honest. Last night, watched all these late night games after Miami, read all the different ACC championship combos that we need, read all the playoff combos we need, and I kind of went to sleep a little scatterbrained and all messed up. This morning, had to clear my mind, poured a cup of coffee, put some Linda Ronstadt on my headphones, walked over to Miami Beach, walked on the sand a little bit, cleared my mind. After this recording, going to take the boys to Tropical Park, run the hill, and get some exercise. And I think the key was just clearing my mind of all this clutter, because really, at the end of the day, Miami's 9-2. Miami's playing a Pitt team on the road next week that looked really good yesterday offensively and has looked good offensively for a long time. That takes the ball away, that causes a lot of problems. Miami, for the last 20 years, goes into that 30-degree weather and loses that game 10 out of 10 times. Is this going to be like the last 20 years, or is it going to be different? And I think, look, we'll talk about all the playoff stuff. Obviously, Miami deserves to be in over a Notre Dame team that hasn't beaten a soul. Literally every team that Notre Dame beat is bad. USC stinks. Lincoln Riley is a fraud. If Miami had Notre Dame's resume, no one would even be thinking about putting Miami in the playoffs. That's just obvious before you even get to the head-to-head. Notre Dame played two good teams all year and lost both. So let's just forget the head-to-head. Notre Dame hasn't beaten anybody. Notre Dame does not deserve to be in because their resume is not good. On top of the fact that Miami took their two tackles, smashed them into CJ Carr, took Jeremiah Love, stuffed them in a locker, and physically dominated that game. Let's put that to the side. Notre Dame, as we saw yesterday, has not beaten a single good team. They ran up to score against a lacrosse player at quarterback. If that's what playoff football is, we need to find a new sport to support, because this is a sham. Big 12. Not real football. Not a single soul in the world believes that any of these Big 12 teams have any chance of winning the championship. You treat them like the G5. One bid, and you're lucky. Because no soul alive believes that any team in the Big 12 can win a national championship. You know it. I know it. The committee knows it. They know it. So we can forget about all this stuff. Miami needs to go up to Pitt and play its best game of the season. That's all they can control. That's all they can do. Carson Beck right now is playing some of the best quarterback in the country. As of right now, he's number 8 in the nation in passer rating. You got Julian Sain, Mendoza, Pavia, Mestamaker, Carr, Moore, Damon Williams from Washington, and Beck. And that's with the terrible game against Louisville. He is playing phenomenal. He's going against a Pitt team that takes the ball away at a top 10 rate. Obviously, we saw what happened against Louisville, which is a similarly kind of situated team that takes the ball away. SMU, another top 10 team in takeaways. We saw how that turned out at the end. So there's a chance for Carson Beck to show he is one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the country, going up to Pitt and taking care of business and keep playing the way he's playing. All right, so this defensive line, 5 sacks yesterday, going against a Pitt quarterback that will run around. He'll get sacked a ton. He'll make a lot of plays. Got to finish those sacks. Got to force interceptions. They will turn the ball over as well in the hundreds and giveaways. So they take it away and they give it away. It's a perfect matchup for Miami to show what they can do. Pitt's small. Can you run straight at him? This running game didn't play very well yesterday for the Miami Hurricanes. We all know the need for creativity and all that. But this Pitt game with their small, fast linebackers, you got to run straight at them. Can we do that? Are we still that team, or have we gotten soft? A lot of questions to be answered this week, and that's where my sole focus is. Not that I'm going to make a difference. I'm just going to be watching like all you guys. But for for sanity purposes, don't get caught up in all the permutations. You'll go insane. Let's beat Pitt, and then we'll make our case. The case is obvious. Notre Dame Before we even get to the head-to-head, Notre Dame has not beaten anybody. I think that needs to be clarified. USC stinks. USC is a bad football team. And I can't even tell you anybody else Notre Dame beat, aside from Pitt, who Miami needs to beat on Saturday. So that's that. And Big 12. I mean, one of the things I hate about this playoff watching is that I have to watch Big 12 football because it's a horrible product, and it's put a roof on it, put it in an arena. It does not belong in the national championship conversation. All right, let's talk about the game that we just saw. Miami Hurricanes 34-17 over the Virginia Tech Hokies. Really a story of the game from a Miami perspective. Offensively, I thought just outstanding in the passing game. Carson Beck, 27-32, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, the only person had a better quarterback rating than Beck at 95.3 QBR was Malachi Toney, who was 1 for 1 for 15 yards, going to his second read and making a beautiful throw. Running game, not good enough. Not good enough. Gerard Pringle, 14 carries, 49 yards. Mark Fletcher, 6 carries, 19 yards. Overall, the running game, 83 yards, 2.8. Needs to be better. But I think it was sort of pick your poison situation with Virginia Tech, and obviously the passing game is what got them. Malachi Toney, I'm going to put out this short later, but if you guys were listening to the pregame show, the Breakfast with Kane show, somebody asked me who my player of the game was. I said Malachi Toney. I said I'm feeling a 140-point win, or 140-point win. That'd be nice. 140-yard game. Malachi Toney, 12 catches, 146 yards receiving, 1 touchdown, and of course ran the ball and threw the ball, returned punts. Helped the young lady up who showed a lot of toughness. Shout out to Ashley taking that hit and coming back strong. But yeah, man, it was a good win. Defensively, didn't stop the run very well. That was really the running game imbalance. I think that was the only reason this game was even close. 83 rushing yards for Miami. Like I said, 194 for Virginia Tech. They ran the ball well. They caused a lot of problems with their running game. Different animal with Pitt next week. A much less of a running heavy team. The fact it's a poor running team. You got to stop the run against them. That's going to be the challenge, to just totally eliminate the running game. VTech knew they were going to run. In the passing game, they passed for 201 yards. I mean, some of those were the craziest throws you've ever seen. I mean, just backyard throwing it up, wild plays. The onside kick bounced perfectly. I mean, we had a lot of bad bounces, but I think the team showed a lot of resiliency, taking those bad bounces and not losing focus, finishing strong, getting that last touchdown, running up the score. I thought the play calling was aggressive. I thought there was a ton of creativity in terms of formations. We saw a ton of different stuff. Elijah Lofton in the backfield, Malachi Toney all over the backfield, including at quarterback. All the kinds of different guys in motion. It was a lot of stuff going on to keep Virginia Tech off balance, and certainly that was successful in the passing game. Defensively, Zechariah Poyser, outstanding game with Jacoby Thomas out. Great news, by the way. Jacoby Thomas, according to Cristobal, didn't break anything, got hit pretty good, but the MRI was clean, should be back next week. Huge, huge news. One of the best players in the ACC and somebody that can help wrangle this Pitt offense. But Zechariah Poyser stepped up big, 10 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackles for loss, pass deflection, and of course the big fumble recovery to get that nice 34-point score. Wesley Basaint looked like his shoulder was a little banged up, missed a tackle where he was just trying to kind of strike without wrapping, but overall played a good game. Ahmad Moden, a terror. 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Messidor, unbelievable performance, continues to rush the passer at a high level. Justin Scott, really emerging as that 5-star guy. 4 tackles, 1 sack, 2.5 tackles for loss. We need to get David Blay back, but I think David Blay being out has allowed Scott to really emerge as a building block player for this team going forward, which is what you need. Also did a nice job, running down plays, playing with tremendous effort. So, shout out to Justin Scott and Ahmad Moden, just terrorizing Virginia Tech inside. Elijah Lofton got going. Good to see him, make a nice play. He is still at not the full speed, I don't think, but he's getting more confident. Just getting over the mental block, I think, will help him. The physical will come, and hopefully he needs to lose some weight. I think that'll make him faster and more explosive, but he's coming along. Keelan Marion continues to be consistent, 6 catches, 79 yards. I liked how they used Mark Fletcher not just in the passing game, catching a touchdown, but also as a lead blocker. You saw a couple times he'd go out wide and he'd be the lead blocker for some of those smoke routes, some of those screens, just trying to get out in the perimeter and then bury a defensive back. He is more than capable of doing that. He blocks like a fullback. So I think that gives him some versatility because, of course, he can also run with the ball. Dalen Upshaw, big catch, a 19-yard catch that was huge. JoJo Schrader also had a nice catch late in the game and breaking a tackle. Got away with a face mask, but he did run hard after the catch. And then Josh Moore also caught a pass. So you saw the young guys all get their work in. I'm gonna get to some fan questions here, but first I want to talk about our friends at U Health Sports, the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute. If you consider yourself an athlete or just an active guy, probably know how hard it is to sit on the injured list with pain or injury. Maybe you even try to hack your own rehab, get back earlier. But if compromising your movement or performance is not an option, call the experts at the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute. Whether it's elite competition with Miami Hurricanes athletics or just everyday movement, the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute is the trusted choice for those who demand excellence. Set an appointment today at uhealthsports.com. All right, let's get to some questions here. Nick West, what's up? Alex Fox says, Louis Riddick, insoportable. Yeah, I mean, look, I think he was hammering the eye test thing a little too hard for sure. He's going to advocate for us ultimately with the head-to-head. I think the problem with Louis Riddick is he was just calling the game. So he was trying to describe what was going on in the game. And we were all thinking the same thing. Let's run up the score. Let's run up the score. So, like, I think people need to realize, Louis Riddick is calling the game that he's at, right? He's in the stadium. So he's trying to think about what's going through the minds of the players, what's going through the minds of the coaches, what's really this game about. And I think he was right. We were trying to run up the score as much as possible. So that's kind of where his head was at. Once the game's over, I expect him to advocate for Miami to be in the playoff because we had head-to-head. I believe he said that already. So he's going to keep fighting that fight. More than the coach. Carl saying, where do you think we land on Tuesday? I think we jump Utah. Vandy's a little scary on the back end because Vandy's playing pretty good on offense. But again, they haven't really beaten anybody good. So I think ultimately, before we can get into head-to-head, let's talk about who you beaten. Forget head-to-head. Like, have you beaten anybody good? And I think for a lot of these teams, they really have not beaten anybody good. And they've lost to the good teams they played. Knox Kane, morning D. Let's get one more win to close the season strong. That's what it is, man. That's all it is. Kane's thanks saying pick game will make or break Mario. It is a huge, huge game. Yeah, Josh, I agree with this. He said, I really don't like getting to playoff top, but what bothers me is this college football media is starting to treat these games like it's Madden or fantasy football, like running up the score means anything. Exactly. Like we had a game between Miami and Notre Dame. That meant a little more than running up the score against a lacrosse player walk-on at quarterback. I mean, give me a break. Is that what the sport's about? It's hard. It's hard, man. I still think that this expanded playoff sucks, but which means we probably would have been out already, but whatever. I digress. Let's see what else is going on. The Juice says, Pitt, we're coming. Huge, huge game. Josh says, G-Tech got no pressure at times. Their D-line needs to go gorilla mode next week, play their best game of the season as far as pressure rate. Yeah, Pittsburgh's not a very good team protecting the quarterback. I think the reason you saw Georgia Tech struggle with pressure is because Georgia Tech has a horrible defense. That's really, kind of what that's all about. If you look at Pitt offensively, so I'm just pulling up, Pitt drops back and passes a lot, and they're getting sacked on 9% of their dropbacks, 122nd in the country. So Pitt gets sacked a lot. That's going to be a key to the game. I would get a lot of our fast guys on the field, a lot of our fast guys rushing the passer, Thomas, whoever. One thing with drones is that our fast guys had trouble bringing him down because he's so big. Made some really tough plays. Whereas Heinschel, he'll make some great plays. He's as elusive as anybody, as instinctive as anybody, has incredible feel for pressure, spinning the other way. Like he's really, really good, but he's smaller. So like a Jacoby Thomas, if he gets to him, will bring him down, right? Or a Zechariah Poyser. So I think we need to focus with Heinschel on speed, get speed. Lightfoot didn't play a lot yesterday because of the running game for Virginia Tech. Pitt can't run the ball. They ran it pretty good yesterday, but over the course of the year, they've been one of the worst running teams in the country. Get Lightfoot on the field. Get your speed on the field. Maybe get Bain at tackle. Get Messidor a little bit of tackle. Get after this quarterback with speed. So when he starts to do his running around game, he gets run down and makes mistakes. They'll give the ball away. Butch, appreciate your support here. He says, D, on the bad snap, what could the indicator possibly been with Beck staring at the sideline? I assume he's not yelling or clapping, so why snap? Your guess is as good as mine. I wish I knew, man. That could have been a disastrous play. We got a little lucky there. I mean, it ended up being a tough play because it cost us a drive, but yeah, we got a little lucky there. But I don't know the indicator. I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the exact same thing as you because I didn't see a clap. I don't know if they heard a clap somewhere else. Maybe that was my thought that maybe somewhere else there was a clap. Let's see what's going on here. Coach Jenko, does Heatherman scheme have some odd looks for the freshman quarterback? Maybe. I really think the key to that game obviously you have to stop the run. Pitt's a bad running team. They ran the ball well yesterday. You cannot be the team they run well against. That's kind of table stakes. You stop the run, make them one-dimensional, you're in much better shape. And you got to, when he does do his scramble, which he's going to do every other play, this guy lives to scramble. He's got incredible vision and feel. He has good quickness, great feel for the rush when it's coming from his blind spot. He spins. I've not seen a guy spin like a sense, maybe Johnny Manziel, right? When the rush is coming, Pavia is good at this too. When the rush is coming from his blind spot, just spinning the other way and feeling it. He's really, really good at that. He kind of reminds me of Pavia, actually, Heinschel. But you got to get speed on the field, and you got to get to him, take him down. You got to force picks. He will turn the ball over more than that. Like Pitt's giveaways, just for some perspective here. So we always talk about Carson Beck and picks and just turnovers in general, which are going to be, of course, the key to this game, I think, because Pitt does take the ball away quite a bit. But in terms of giveaways, Miami right now is 25th in the nation in giveaways, 1 per game. So that's turnovers and all turnovers, fumbles, I guess all turnovers except for turnovers on down. So fumbles and interceptions combined. We're 25th in the nation, 1 a game, tied with Iowa. Then you go down to Pitt, and they are 104th, 1.6 giveaways per game. So they'll give away the ball if you let them. Real Ruiz saying, yeah, Galloway tried to draw equivalency between Miami and FSU. I mean, yeah, he didn't. That was not very smart. He did not come off very smart during that conversation. He's just a kind of cranky guy, experienced, polished, but yeah, that was one of the dumbest comments I heard yesterday, period. I don't know what else to say. Just not very smart. Maybe. Let's see here what's going on. King Gang says, stop watching ESPN, people. JK Slay, if ND won by 17 and we won by 60, we're saying totally opposite. All we can do is win and let the chips fall. All we got to say, JK, is we beat Notre Dame. Like that story is easy. Like we get to the common opponent stuff because we have to, because you just go stack all the other stuff. For example, Miami against NC State, a team that was actually trying to win, played a lot better than Notre Dame against NC State. Notre Dame was 10-7 and NC State at the half, a game that NC State was actually trying to win, just like they were trying to beat us. But I think with Miami Notre Dame, all we got to say is we beat them. It was not a fluke. It was a physical drubbing. Notre Dame's tackles were doing ballet. It was embarrassing for Notre Dame's offensive line in that game, and their running game did nothing. Jeremiah Love, who they're trying to talk about Heisman, I think Jeremiah Love's best running back in the country. I think Price is one of the top 5 running backs in the country. They didn't run at all against Miami. I mean, at all. Virginia Tech ran a lot better than they did. So, that was a physical drubbing. So you don't talk about eye test. I think that's if you talk about the Notre Dame Miami game, it's not just head to head. Eye test, we were the better team when they were both on the same field. Bigger, faster, stronger, tougher. You don't believe me? Pull it up. If you want to pull something up, it's going to maybe lighten the anxiety from all this playoff talk. BUZZN, BUZZN, man. DrinkBuzzN.com. That's drinkBUZZN.com. First order, use code FIRST 35 for 35% off. You visit drinkbuzzn.com. Again, drinkbuzzn.com to order to your house, or you could go to Big Daddy's Liquors anywhere in South Florida and just pick up a crate. That is BUZZN, BUZZN. Take the edge off. All the hang, no hangover. You'll be drinking these to celebrate a win over Pitt next week, and there'll be no hangover. All the bubbles, no troubles. Choose your chill. BUZZN, BUZZN.com. Sorry, drink BUZZN.com. Yeah, Knox Can, I think it's a great point here, and I think this is something we need to start talking about, is why don't people talk about Carson Beck's first game coming off surgery for Miami, a win over Notre Dame, by the way. He's not allowed to get better. Right. Yeah, CJ Carr, by the way, played good in that game. He was the best player in Notre Dame's team. They talk about him getting better over the course of the year as a freshman. Beck is really starting to round into form from his injury, and not playing in spring, not playing in summer, all new receivers. You're seeing Beck, and he talked about it. He's been talking about it in the press conference. You're seeing him start to come into his own physically and timing wise, and just in terms of his comfort with his arm, with the offense, with everything else. So he's the key guy next week. We talk about all there's, a lot of keys, but at the end of the day, you're playing a team that turns it over at a top 10 rate. On that, when they're on defense, they got fast linebackers who can go the other way on you. You saw the pick six yesterday. I think they've had a few pick sixes on the year. Got to protect the football, man. They're a dangerous team when it comes to taking the ball away. You protect the football, you're going to be physical. You're gonna run over them a little bit. That's their weakness. Is they're just not that big, but they are fast and they can't take the ball away. So Carson Beck, keep playing the way you've been playing. Which, again, I pointed the stat out earlier on the show. Carson Beck right now, as we sit here on November 23rd, is number 8 in the country in quarterback rating, coming off an injury. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but he's got to prove it next week against Pitt, because Pitt, everybody's watching to see if we're gonna be, choking in that game. Jay Campbell says super high blitz rate team, blitz pickup and protection at a premium. I will say one good thing about this matchup is we're good at that. Now people get mad at Mark Fletcher and Pringle, and I think Pringle should have been getting more carries. Had a nice touchdown catch. We need to use Pringle, but if there's a game for a Fletcher, I think, and Brown, this is probably the one, because again, Pitt's a smaller team, but they're faster and they like to blitz. So, one of those fast linebackers blitzing with Mark Fletcher. Mark Fletcher's bigger than that linebacker, more powerful. So we can knock that guy back, give Beck time to pick him apart. So we've been calling for more Pringle since, go back and look at the Stanford game before the SMU loss. I was calling for more Pringle. So I want Pringle more than anybody, but I do think we need to use maybe a little more Fletcher in this game because of the particular matchup. Again, high blitz rate team that is not big, but is fast. So how do you counter that? Physicality. I know that's like a dirty word because you associate that with us not playing very good on offense earlier in the year. And keep the creativity, keep Carson Beck letting it rip. A lot of things, and use Pringle, right? I'm not saying any of these things should take a step backwards and go back to that offense that was too predictable against SMU and Louisville. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is matchups matter, styles make fights, and this is the kind of game the big boys need to come out and do their thing and beat up Pitt a little bit. D saying Louisville 2.0, very similar team. Very similar team. I think Louisville had more elite playmakers with Bell and Brown. I don't think anybody on Pitt is as good as those guys. Desmond Reed is good. He's banged up. Let's see if he plays next week. But I don't think anybody's as good as those two individually, but they do have speed. And I think the quarterback for Pitt's more elusive than Louisville. So Louisville wanted to get rid of it quick passing game, whereas Heinzel, he's going to be running around, holding the ball. You got to sack him. But there are some similarities. On the defensive end, I think a lot of similarities in terms of just using their speed, trying to take the ball away, all of those things. Rashad Ellison, love his passing up first downs, can't go backwards. Yeah, it's going to have to be a game where Carson Beck really shows what he can do. Martin Dubé says Pitt's a smaller team, plus the weather's very cold. Have to go blunt force trauma. Mr. Fletcher will be featured. I agree. And again, it's not just the running game; it's the passing game. Because if these guys blitz their linebackers a lot and their safeties and their corners, and they want to use their speed to really get after the quarterback, Mark Fletcher, we've seen it. He's the best pass protecting back, I think, in the country, at least the best I've seen. You saw him get a complete nonsense call yesterday where he buried somebody and the whole team tried to fight him because he humiliated whoever he was trying to block. We need that against Pitt. By the way, the refs, yes, the ACC is Bush League. I mean, these guys are, I'm not going to go out there and accuse them of being in cahoots with the mafia, so I'm just going to assume they're incompetent. But they are very incompetent. I don't know what the hell's going on. Some of those calls yesterday, the Mark Fletcher call was just a complete joke. That incomplete pass that bounced off the ground that they upheld. I mean, I don't even know what the hell we're doing out here. It was embarrassing. I did not understand what was going on. And they had an inadvertent whistle that went in our favor. But again, that just shows the general incompetence of these officials. Yeah, Kane Gang says we've been making all the contested catches lately. Shout out to the wide receiver room. Yeah, the refs inserting themselves into the game when they should be doing the opposite. I agree. Real Reese says VT got 4 tries at 4th and 1. I mean, I lost track. Yeah, another one. Kane saying cameraman was drunk at noon. Let's get this thing together, ACC. I'll tell you who I love. I love the ACC network. Love them. Love the host that they use. The whole program. Outstanding. ACC network, A+. Everything else in the ACC, Bush League, man. Come on, guys. Let's step up. This is ridiculous. It's like they're going to treat you Bush League if you present Bush League like we have been. Of course, Miami wasn't Bush League when they played Notre Dame and drove their two tackles into each other, put Jeremiah Love in a blender. Malachi Tony burning the best secondary in the country in his first game of college, all that stuff. But, the presentation sucks. Got to get better, guys. And the refs are a complete joke. So it's going to be cold. Like I said, you guys are heading up there, or you're just living in a cold weather environment. And everything's going to be pretty cold weather here in the months to come. Go to the Miami Hurricane Team Store, MiamiHTS.com. Go grab yourself a sweater. Go grab yourself some outerwear. Maybe you're in a tropical island. You just need one of these button-down short sleeves or shirts. Whatever you need, you can get at the Miami Hurricane Team Store, MiamiHTS.com. Use promo code INSIGHT20. Get 20% off your first item, or you go to the store right across the street from University of Miami next to the Thesis Hotel. Again, promo code INSIGHT20. Wherever you're at, will give you 20% off. And this is the official store of the Miami Hurricanes. So you want the official gear, this is where you get it. MiamiHTS.com, located right across the street in person from the University of Miami. All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys joining us. One more question here. 220 Greenwich says, any chatter on the politicians involved this week? Unfortunately, it's needed. I think we got to win this next game against Pittsburgh. If we beat Pittsburgh, I think you'll see DeSantis start to push for Miami. He's tweeting a lot about college football lately. He's been an advocate for Miami in the past. You got to beat Pitt, and then you'll get some of these politicians, I think, pushing for the Miami Hurricanes. Let's see what else is going on. Rashad said, see what happens in Syracuse. We need that 40 burger. You got to play well, man. Play your best game of the season against Pitt and let the chips fall where they may. Again, appreciate everybody joining us here. Like and subscribe. I might do another show, man. I'm fired up. I'm feeling good with the win. Miami doubles up Virginia Tech 34-17. This is a playoff team all day. And anyone doesn't believe it, watch what we did when Notre Dame played an actual team. When Notre Dame played an actual team, you saw what happened. That's all I got to say. Show me film of Notre Dame looking like a playoff team against a real team. If that film exists, I want to see it. I want to see film of Notre Dame against a real team looking like a playoff team. If you can find that, let's see it. You're not going to find it. Because when they played two real teams, they lost both, including against the Miami Hurricanes. That's the bottom line. You know what, though? By the way, before I get off, I'm feeling hungry. I'm going, like I said, I'm going to run the hills of Tropical Park with my kids. Got to get their feet and their knees up when they run. They're dragging their feet a little too much. You got to go to that hill of Tropical Park where a lot of hurricane legends were made. Right after that, I'm going to Dayland Dining Pavilion, and you know where I'm going. Islas Canarias Cuban Express, 7 different types of croquetas, all the handhelds, tostones, cubaritos. I was there with my man John Andrade on Thursday, I believe. I went out there. It was awesome. Huge line, but it went fast because they were a machine, and the food was incredible. Had one of those cubaritos, grab and goes, but you get shakes, coffees, you name it, breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything you need. Islas Canarias Express at the Dining Pavilion in Dadeland Mall. All right, everybody. Like and subscribe. Beat Pitt. Go Canes.